them.
But I've been shut out. You know, some platforms will not have me on.
Why?
They don't like that I'm, you know, an independent thinker. I'm not part of the herd. I'm not part of the go along to get along gang, so to speak. So, you know, I'm an outsider. That I'm not part of the club. And a lot of you listening to me right here, right now, you're not part of the club either. And what I realized with the club is what makes them so mad is when you don't want to be a part of their fucking club.
Well, Oprah Winfrey is hitting back at claims that she created a negative experience for the cast during the filming of The Colour Purple.
Now, speculations started when one of the film's stars spoke out about being paid inadequately in Hollywood, as well as criticising production for making cast members drive themselves to set in rental cars. But the media mogul has shut all of those rumours down, saying there's no bad blood.
That pisses them off. What club am I talking about? I'm talking about the club of gatekeepers that we all got to deal with. You know who they are, and they definitely know who they are. A lot of people would be like, what, who? Come on, man, stop playing.
Why do you think we're in a happiness slump in America?
Ooh, I will tell you, one of the most profound reasons, I think, is because everybody is looking at other people's social media, what they believe to be other people's lives, which is only a snapshot of other people's lives.
Have you ever wondered if there's more to Oprah Winfrey's story than the feel-good success tale we've been told for decades? One of the most influential figures in media, she has been heralded as a champion of philanthropic causes and a pillar of empathy. But not everyone agrees with that shining image. Rumors of behind-the-scenes feuds, accusations of gatekeeping, and troubling whispers about her private dealings hint at a far more complicated legacy. And in the midst of it all, Ice Cube, a voice respected across music, film, and cultural circles, has stepped forward with his own bold statements. His allegations about Hollywood's insular system, combined with Oprah's rumbling controversies, have sparked a new wave of curiosity about how power and loyalty really work behind closed doors. From public spats with big-name celebrities to allegations of selective advocacy, Oprah stands at the center of a swirling storm. Fans and critics alike are left wondering, are these claims a matter of misunderstandings and rumor? Or do they reflect a hidden reality behind her trillion-watt smile? Today, we're diving into the labyrinth of controversies, power plays, and personal clashes that might just reshape how you view one of the world's most iconic figures. Brace yourself, because the truth could be more layered and more unsettling than you ever imagined. Oprah Winfrey didn't start out as a media titan. Her journey from a modest background in rural Mississippi to owning her own television network is legendary, the kind of story that keeps people inspired. She began as a young news anchor, quickly moving into the world of daytime talk shows, where her charisma and relatable style captured hearts. No matter who you were, it felt like Oprah was talking directly to you, offering empathy and wisdom in equal measure. That warmth on camera grew into a full-blown empire. She launched The Oprah Winfrey Show, turning it into the most watched daytime program for years. Beyond talk shows, she started charities, wrote books, and became a go-to figure for spiritual guidance and personal growth. People trusted her recommendations so wholeheartedly that an endorsement on her show could turn an unknown author into a bestseller overnight. This wasn't just celebrity, it was near unprecedented influence, a phenomenon people began calling the Oprah effect. Yet even early on, rumors swirled that Oprah's journey to the top involved more than just benevolence. Some insiders whispered about strict business negotiations, ironclad control over her brand, and a layered strategy to maintain her position. These murmurs, however, barely scratched her public image. Viewers remained loyal, seeing only a charismatic confidant who championed everyday people. But that wasn't the whole story. Despite her shining reputation, Oprah was bound to face challenges and challengers who questioned how real that benevolent facade truly was. Soon the cracks began to show. High-profile conflicts, allegations from fellow black artists about unfair treatment, and controversies tied to her philanthropic endeavors started poking holes in the perfect narrative. One of the most jarring clashes involves Ice Cube, the legendary rapper, actor, and entrepreneur. Over the years, Cube's forthright nature has earned him respect as someone who doesn't mince words. Recently, he's been vocal about what he calls Hollywood's gatekeepers. These are the movers and shakers, studios, media moguls, and powerful talk show hosts who, in his view, decide who gets a platform and who's shut out. In interviews, Cube has described repeatedly running into invisible walls whenever his opinions veered from the mainstream political line. Despite his commercial success and cultural relevance, he alleges that top-tier platforms either overlooked him or straight up refused to host him when his viewpoints might clash with the dominant narrative. He even pointed to The View, claiming he was turned away specifically because certain hosts weren't comfortable with his stance on current events. According to Cube, Oprah Winfrey also factors into that list of gatekeepers. He doesn't accuse her outright of orchestrating a grand scheme. Rather, he suggests she's part of a broader system that locks out voices unwilling to conform. It wasn't a one-time instance either. Cube recalls moments where he was conspicuously absent from promotional rounds for projects he created or produced. Whether it was a film or a reality TV show, he found himself on the outside, looking in, even if he was directly involved in developing the property. This exclusion, in his view, isn't random. Cube believes it's tied to his refusal to be a convenient mouthpiece. Industry insiders, he claims, want people who stick to the approved talking points. The moment you step outside that zone, you become a risk, a rebel who can't be controlled. And that's where he places himself, firmly outside the lines, standing by his beliefs regardless of whether they're deemed controversial. He also points to a pattern of pushback when it comes to the sports world. Cube co-founded the Big Three, a professional 3-on-3 basketball league that aims to be a space for athletes still capable of competing but perhaps overlooked by the traditional NBA system. Despite initial buzz, Cube says he met with closed doors and consistent resistance, suggesting that the NBA and major networks want to keep him from carving out a significant presence in sports. Now, with the Gatekeepers podcast tour, Cube aims to bypass these barriers and speak directly to the public through a wide array of podcasts and independent platforms. His plan: call out each gatekeeper by name and force a conversation about who really controls the narrative in Hollywood and beyond. The big question is whether Oprah will be brought up explicitly or if she'll continue to stay in the background, an unspoken but powerful figure who can help or hinder someone's rise. Ice Cube's critiques and Oprah's rumored role in selective media coverage become even more pronounced when we look at the long-standing friction between Oprah and other black celebrities. One such example is Monique, a talented comedian and actress who famously won an Oscar for her jaw-dropping performance in Precious, a film co-produced by Oprah, Tyler Perry, and Lee Daniels. After her Academy Award win, Monique expected doors to fling open for bigger, more lucrative opportunities. Instead, she found them slammed in her face. She claims Oprah, Tyler Perry, and Lee Daniels labeled her as difficult for not bending to certain promotional demands. According to Monique, she was never truly obligated to do the extensive press they requested, and she'd already completed her contractual obligations. However, refusing them seemingly triggered severe backlash, culminating in fewer roles and smaller paychecks. For Monique, this was more than just business. She felt personally betrayed by Oprah, someone she had admired deeply. Matters took a darker turn when Oprah allegedly featured Monique's estranged family members on the Oprah Winfrey Show without her blessing, something Monique found profoundly hurtful and exploitative. Feeling blindsided, she confronted Oprah about this choice, but received few answers that satisfied her. In Monique's eyes, Oprah's approach looked like sensationalism at the expense of personal respect and trust. 50 Cent also waded into the debate, criticizing Oprah for what he saw as a selective focus on Me Too allegations. He pointed out that Oprah took strong stances against black figures, including Michael Jackson and Russell Simmons, but kept notably quieter about major white Hollywood producers facing similar accusations. To him, this smacked of inconsistency, if not outright bias, a feeling echoed by a segment of the hip-hop and entertainment community who believe Oprah might be more guarded when addressing wrongdoing by influential white colleagues. These tensions highlight a crucial fault line in Hollywood. Who's truly advocating for representation and who's only doing it when it's convenient? Oprah's public persona puts her on a pedestal of championing marginalized voices. Yet Monique and others suggest that if you step outside the boundaries, you risk losing everything. The conversation has only grown more heated as fans on both sides debate whether Monique is simply burning bridges or heroically speaking truth to power. This clash over pay, favoritism, and hidden agendas also bleeds into Oprah's high-profile involvement with films like The Color Purple. Celebrated for its portrayal of strong black women, The Color Purple is more than just a movie. It's a cultural touchstone. Oprah co-produced a later adaptation too, positioning herself as a continued champion of African American storytelling. But behind the scenes, some black actresses point to pay discrepancies and overlooked talent. Taraji P. Henson, for example, has spoken out about the glaringly different salaries offered to black actors compared to their white counterparts. Rumors suggest that even on projects linked to Oprah's name, these disparities persisted. Taraji, who's starred in critically acclaimed roles, has been candid about how disheartening it is to do the same amount of work, or more, yet see a fraction of the pay. Oprah has defended herself, explaining that she doesn't always control the production budget or final paychecks. She insists that whenever she hears of issues on set, be it about transportation, catering, or fair treatment, she intervenes to fix it. But critics argue that someone of Oprah's stature has enough influence to ensure better pay equity if she truly prioritized it. They question why high-profile figures remain silent during contract negotiations, only to claim they're powerless after the fact. This tension underscores a broader debate in Hollywood about how much activism is real and how much is for optics. Oprah's brand is built on empathy and empowerment, but some in the industry say it's not always consistent when it comes to championing lesser-known or difficult black voices. The result is an uneasy gap between the star-studded image on magazine covers and what many claim is the genuine power dynamic behind the scenes. Beyond her on-screen persona and film productions, Oprah's philanthropic ventures have long been a source of admiration. Chief among them is the Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy for Girls in South Africa, launched with the noble aim of offering world-class education to underprivileged young women. It was heralded as a beacon of hope, and initially, the public embraced it as a prime example of Oprah's altruistic spirit. However, a series of alarming incidents cast a shadow over that institution. Reports surfaced about staff misconduct, with at least one employee charged with multiple counts of inappropriate behavior toward minors. Students, some as young as 13, allegedly fell victim to a systematic pattern of abuse. Although Oprah publicly vowed to investigate, many critics questioned why more wasn't done to prevent such misconduct in the first place. In one particularly harrowing incident, a newborn was discovered deceased on the Academy's grounds. Speculation ran wild, with some rumors connecting it to a larger network of exploitation, though no concrete evidence ever emerged to confirm such links. Still, These dark stories damaged the Academy's reputation and prompted serious questions about Oprah's management style. If she was truly hands-on with every aspect of her brand, how did these issues go unchecked? Oprah's subsequent statements seemed to distance herself from direct responsibility. She explained that as soon as she learned of any issue, she did her best to resolve it, but that she wasn't personally overseeing every operational detail. Critics, however, believe these incidents merited far more transparency. They argued that a facility bearing Oprah's name and funded largely by her wealth should have had robust safeguards in place from day one. Although a segment of the public remains sympathetic, attributing these problems to corrupt individuals rather than Oprah's oversight, the controversies around the Academy have never fully dissipated. They linger as a troubling testament to how even well-intentioned initiatives can go awry, and raise the question of whether Oprah's brand might at times be more polished PR than practical accountability. Other, more unsettling rumors also swirl around Oprah's private dealings in Hollywood. Diddy's infamous parties often appear in these accusations, with chatter that Oprah was somehow involved or at least aware of questionable activities. Some sources claim she was connected to preparing younger individuals for these star-studded events. Allegations that range from vague suggestions of enabling to outright accusations of wrongdoing. Though unverified and murky, these rumors add to the aura of secrecy around Oprah's empire. Moreover, critics note that Oprah publicly condemned high-profile black men under scrutiny, but showed notable restraint when discussing equally influential white figures. Consider the example of one of Hollywood's most infamous predators, Harvey Weinstein. Oprah was photographed with him several times at award ceremonies and events. While those images don't inherently prove complicity, they still raise the question of how much Oprah really knew about his reputation long before it became public knowledge. When the Me Too movement exploded, Oprah released statements calling it a watershed moment. She expressed hope for systemic change. Yet she never addressed her past associations with Weinstein in detail, other than broad comments about not being aware of the extent of his behavior. Detractors question if that ignorance was genuine or if she chose to remain silent to preserve her standing within the powerful echelons of Hollywood. 50 Cent and others see a pattern. Oprah, they believe, seizes moral high ground only when it aligns with certain narratives. Whether that's a conscious calculation or not, critics argue that it tarnishes her image as a universal champion for justice. They insist that if you're going to call out specific men, you should be equally vigorous with all alleged offenders, regardless of race or professional ties. This selective outrage isn't unique to Oprah, of course. It reflects a broader industry culture where powerful figures often protect or condemn each other depending on private alliances and long-term benefits. But because Oprah's brand banks on her moral authority, every instance of perceived inconsistency stands out, leaving observers to wonder how many decisions hinge on moral convictions versus strategic alliances. All these incidents, Ice Cube's denunciations, Monique's feud, the controversies involving Me Too, and the disturbing stories from Oprah's South African Academy, point toward a larger issue in Hollywood: power structures that operate behind the scenes. Despite the glitz and glam, the industry can feel more like a gated community than an inclusive village. Those who belong reap endless rewards, while those who question or defy the rules often find themselves ostracized. From Ice Cube's vantage point, Hollywood is run by a handful of key players, showrunners, network executives, producers, talk show moguls who decide what perspectives merit airtime. He's determined to pull back the curtain, using his Gatekeepers podcast tour to speak freely. And he's not mincing words. He wants to name names, calling out everyone from major talk show hosts who refused him a seat to league organizers he feels intentionally stifled the Big Three's progress. Yet the conversation about gatekeepers can't ignore Oprah's towering presence. Whether she's actively blocking opportunities, passively letting injustice slide, or completely uninvolved is a matter of heated debate. But her status at the top of the Hollywood pyramid means any critique of the system inevitably falls at her doorstep too. Hollywood's complexity doesn't stop with Oprah, of course. Tyler Perry, Lee Daniels, and many other influential figures all shape who gets to participate in the storytelling process. But Oprah's multi-decade tenure as a cultural icon, combined with her philanthropic persona, makes her arguably the biggest piece of the puzzle. If even half the rumors have merit, her carefully curated brand might be disguising the same Machiavellian tactics we see in other corners of show business. For Monique, speaking out was worth the risk. She believed that unless someone with her platform dared to call out double standards, these entrenched biases would continue. In doing so, she hopes to open doors for the next generation of Black artists who want to share their stories without bending to every demand of an all-powerful producer or talk show titan. But that struggle extends beyond one actress or one mogul. It encompasses every artist who has been told to play the game or face consequences. And it raises a bigger question for viewers and fans. Do we accept the polished narratives fed to us, or do we dig deeper to see who might be pulling the strings? So where does that leave Oprah Winfrey's overall legacy? She's undeniably achieved historic milestones, becoming one of the world's wealthiest and most influential women, championing literacy and education, and creating a media platform that's empowered countless viewers. She's given away millions to charities and offered a sense of hope to audiences who saw her as a symbol of possibility. But at the same time, these ongoing controversies can't simply be brushed aside as tabloid gossip. The voices speaking up, Ice Cube, Monique, 50 Cent, and others, are hardly fringe figures looking for a fleeting spotlight. They, too, have deeply established careers with track records that command attention. Their collective grievances point to a reality that even someone as venerated as Oprah might operate in ways that betray her public persona. Will these allegations destroy Oprah's reputation? Probably not in one fell swoop. She remains beloved by millions, many of whom either aren't aware of the controversies or choose to dismiss them. However, as the conversation around fairness, representation, and authenticity in entertainment grows louder, these stories stand a good chance of reshaping how future generations view her. In the end, it might not be about canceling Oprah or any of the other gatekeepers. Instead, it's about demanding transparency and accountability in an industry that has thrived on closed-door deals and unspoken hierarchies. It's about compelling media moguls to stand by the same moral standards they publicly espouse or face a reckoning with the audiences they have long influenced. What do you think? Is Oprah the philanthropic hero many have believed her to be? Or is there truth in the rumors that her empire holds dark secrets beneath its glossy surface? Maybe the answer, like most things in Hollywood, lies somewhere in the messy middle. One thing is certain. As Ice Cube charges forward on his Gatekeepers tour and more details emerge about the silent battles raging behind the scenes, the conversation isn't going away anytime soon. Let this be a reminder that the people we idolize on screen are still human, capable of mistakes and missteps, even if they wield enormous influence. Yet it's also a call for greater unity among artists like Ice Cube, Monique, and others who are calling out the system. Their voices might just be the key to dismantling the unspoken rule that you either play along or get left out. In Hollywood, legends are built by talent, hard work, and the occasional stroke of luck. But sustaining that legendary status often requires political savvy, strategic alliances, and a willingness to protect your own interests at all costs. Oprah Winfrey's career is a testament to the heights those qualities can achieve. But it may also illuminate the casualties left behind when someone occupies a throne for too long. Only time will tell if these controversies transform how we see Oprah. Perhaps she'll address them directly, or perhaps she'll continue to navigate quietly, as she's done with many past storms. Until then, the story remains fluid, fueled by the testimony of people who say they've been marginalized by an untouchable figurehead. And as the sparks fly, one question lingers. Will the real Oprah Winfrey please stand up? If you have your own take on these allegations, whether you believe Oprah remains a philanthropic beacon or you find these stories impossible to ignore, share your thoughts. And if you're curious about what else might be lurking behind the curtain of fame and fortune, stick around. The entertainment world is rarely as simple as it appears, and sometimes the biggest surprises come from those we least expect. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to keep up with every new twist in this ever-evolving saga. Because if there's one thing we've learned by now, it's that the truth in Hollywood can be far stranger and more revealing than fiction.